You walk into a gun store today and you can spend $500 on something genuinely excellent. Or you can spend the same money on something that looks great in photos, gets attention online, and quietly disappoints you 6 months later when the novelty wears off and the real performance does not match the hype. That is the problem with the gun market in 2026. There is always a new release, always a hotter claim, always somebody telling you that the latest thing is the one you've been waiting for. And sometimes they are right. But more often than not, the guns that actually hold their value are not the ones with the loudest marketing. They are the ones that keep proving themselves long after the internet has moved on. So today, we are talking about 5 guns that are actually worth the price. Not the newest, not the most fashionable, the ones that earn their reputation through real use, solid design, and long-term value. These are the guns that make sense whether you are a new buyer trying not to waste money or an experienced shooter trying to add something dependable to the collection. The first gun is the Glock 19 Gen 5. Yes, it is the obvious choice, and that is exactly why it belongs on this list. The Glock 19 has been around long enough to stop being a trend and become a standard. It is one of those pistols that gets mentioned so often people start to take it for granted. But there is a reason it keeps showing up in holsters, range bags, duty setups, and private collections all over the country. It does a lot of things well, and it does them without asking for much in return. The Gen 5 version improves on what already worked. The finger grooves are gone, which makes the grip better for more hands. The marksman barrel tightens up the shooting experience a little. The flared magwell helps with reloads. The ambidextrous slide stop makes the gun easier to run for left-handed shooters. None of those changes are flashy, but all of them matter. This is the genius of the Glock 19. It does not try to impress you with gimmicks. It just works. It is compact enough for carry, large enough to shoot well, and supported by one of the deepest aftermarket ecosystems in the handgun world. Holsters, sights, magazines, triggers, lights, parts, accessories, everything is available, and most of it is easy to find. That matters because ownership is not just about the purchase price. It is about what happens after you buy the gun. Maintenance, setup, customization, and long-term use all affect value. The Glock 19 Gen 5 is not the most exciting handgun in the store, but it is one of the safest bets you can make. The second gun is the Ruger 1022 Takedown. This is the kind of firearm that reminds you that value is not always about defensive use or raw power. Sometimes value is about versatility, simplicity, and how much you actually enjoy owning the gun. The standard 1022 has been one of the most successful rimfire rifles ever made, and the takedown version adds a practical advantage that a lot of people underestimate. It breaks down into 2 compact pieces, which makes it easy to transport, store, and pack in situations where a full-length rifle is inconvenient. For campers, travelers, new shooters, and people who want a lightweight rifle with real utility, it makes a lot of sense. What also makes the 1022 Takedown special is the aftermarket. Like the Glock 19 in the pistol world, the 1022 in the rimfire world has support that borders on ridiculous. Stocks, barrels, triggers, optics, magazines, and internal parts are everywhere. You can keep it simple or build it into almost anything you want. That kind of flexibility is a huge part of the value equation. You are not just buying a rifle, you are buying a platform that can grow with you. For training new shooters, practicing fundamentals, hunting small game, or just spending an afternoon at the range without burning through expensive centerfire ammo, the 1022 Takedown is hard to beat. It is not trying to be everything. It just does a lot of useful things very well. The third gun is the Smith Wesson 686. If the Glock 19 is the modern workhorse, the 686 is the classic example of buying once and being done with it. This is a .357 Magnum revolver with a reputation that has been built over decades, not months. It is one of the cleanest examples of what a production revolver can be when a company gets the formula right and keeps it right. The stainless steel construction gives it durability and weather resistance. The L-frame gives it the strength to handle sustained use with Magnum loads, and the trigger is one of the biggest reasons people keep coming back to it. There is something satisfying about a good revolver trigger. It is deliberate, it is smooth, it gives the shooter immediate feedback. The 686 has one of the best reputations in production revolvers for exactly that reason. It feels refined without being fragile, substantial without being awkward, and practical without losing the character people love about wheel guns. It also gives you flexibility. You can run .38 Special for softer recoil and lower cost practice, or .357 Magnum when you want more power. That kind of adaptability adds value because the gun can serve multiple roles instead of being locked into a single one. The 686 is not a budget revolver, and it should not be. It costs more because it is built better than cheap alternatives, and in this case, the price makes sense. This is the sort of handgun people buy, shoot for years, and hand down later without feeling like they compromised. The fourth gun is the Mossberg 500. This is one of the most recognizable pump shotguns ever made, and for good reason. The Mossberg 500 has been around since the 1960s, and it earned its reputation the hard way, through actual use. It has been trusted for home defense, law enforcement, hunting, and general utility for decades. That kind of staying power only happens when a design keeps proving itself. One of the strongest features of the Mossberg 500 is the tang safety. It sits in a place that is easy to reach naturally, and for many shooters that makes the gun feel intuitive under stress. The twin-action bars and dual extractors also contribute to its reliability, which is a big part of why the platform has lasted so long. Another reason the 500 remains a smart buy is its adaptability. You can set it up for home defense, birds, general field use, or more versatile all-around shotgun roll, depending on the barrel and configuration. That means one platform can cover a lot of ground if you choose carefully. People sometimes overlook shotguns in modern value conversations because the market is crowded with tactical rifles and polymer pistols. But the Mossberg 500 still occupies a very useful place. It is proven, practical, and widely supported with parts and accessories. If you want a shotgun that has already earned its reputation and continues to make sense for real-world ownership, the 500 belongs on the short list. The fifth gun is the Springfield Armory Loaded 1911. This one is for the shooter who wants a 1911 that feels right without immediately pushing into custom shop money. The 1911 platform is one of the most iconic handguns ever made, and for some shooters, nothing else feels quite the same. The grip angle, trigger feel, manual safety, and overall balance give it a character that polymer pistols do not replicate. That does not make it better for everybody, but for the people who like it, they usually like it a lot. The Springfield Loaded 1911 is a strong example of a production 1911 that offers real value. It brings a match-grade barrel, decent factory features, and a trigger that usually feels much better than what you would expect at its price point. It is not trying to be a collector's piece, it is trying to be a practical, well-equipped 1911 that someone can buy, shoot, and enjoy. That matters because 1911 ownership can get expensive fast. A lot of entry-level guns are too bare bones, and a lot of high-end models go well beyond what most people want to spend. The loaded version sits in a useful middle ground. It gives you enough refinement to feel special without jumping into pricing that makes you hesitate to actually use it. For shooters who already know they like the platform, it is an easy recommendation. For shooters who are curious about the 1911, it is a good place to start without feeling like you bought a stripped-down placeholder. Now, here is the common thread across all 5 of these guns. None of them are built around hype alone. None of them are dependent on a trend cycle. Every one of them has a real track record, a large user base, and enough support to stay relevant after the marketing fades. That is what makes a gun worth the price. It is not the one with the flashiest advertising. It is not the one that gets the most clicks this month. It is the one that still makes sense after the excitement wears off. A gun worth buying is a gun that keeps proving itself in the hands of real people. It should shoot well, hold up over time, have parts and support available, and make you glad you spent the money every time you pick it up. That is why these 5 stand out. The Glock 19 Gen 5 gives you a modern all-around pistol that is easy to trust. The Ruger 1022 Takedown gives you a compact rimfire platform with incredible versatility. The Smith Wesson 686 gives you revolver quality that still feels premium decades later. The Mossberg 500 gives you a shotgun platform that has already earned its place. And the Springfield Loaded 1911 gives you a practical way into one of the most respected handgun designs ever made. If you are trying to spend money wisely in 2026, those are the kinds of firearms that deserve your attention. Because in the end, value is not just about what something costs. It is about whether you still respect it years later. That is what separates a purchase from a regret.